8:10 WBCK. It is a big day, as is often the case at this time of year, around this time anyway. It happens to be September 14th this time around for the United Way. It is the big campaign kickoff. It is today. Chris Sargent is here from the United Way. Good morning.
Good morning, Richard.
And a voice you'll recognize, Derek King, is here as well, campaign chair for Battle Creek.
Good morning.
Well, you just needed something else to do, didn't you, Derek?
Oh, yeah. 5 kids, plenty of time.
That's right. Plenty of time. Got a store, got the county board, all that.
Busy people get things done.
Well, see, that's what happens. They find out who gets things done and add to your list.
Yes.
Well, welcome, gentlemen. What does the campaign kickoff mean, Chris?
So what it means is actually this week is the opening of the United Way campaign. We've actually had a few companies already kick off in August. We call them pacesetter campaigns.
Yep.
They've raised nearly $2 million.
My.
Yeah, we're well on our way to raising the millions of dollars that we do here in Battle Creek and across the region. So we're really excited about that. But this week is all about getting the awareness out that the United Way has kicked off the campaign so companies and individuals can give and volunteer in the local community. And we actually have 30 United Ways across the state kicking off this week and doing what we call a virtual tour, getting out on TV, radio, shows like this, which we appreciate, and really sharing the message of the impact in the community.
It occurs to me sometimes that I presume people know what United Way is, but let's tell them because maybe they don't.
Yeah, it's basically the community fundraiser.
Yeah.
So every year we raise millions of dollars here in Battle Creek. Thousands of people contribute. $1 a week, $5 a week, $1,000 a year. They volunteer their time, and what they do is they go out and they raise resources to be able to help local nonprofit organizations that we support really make a difference in education, income, or financial stability of families, and health. So we want to make sure that kids have a good early childhood education. We want to make sure they're reading proficiently by the end of 3rd grade, that they're getting positive mentors. And then in health, we want to make sure that they're getting a good breakfast, that families are being fed, they have access to high-quality, affordable health care. And then for financial stabilities, we want to make sure that people have the ability to be independent, that they get the jobs that they can survive in as a family.
Now, yeah, you mentioned there the nonprofits you support, and then you offered some a peek into maybe how you choose those by listing those things. Do they have to be one of those in one of those goal areas?
Correct.
To be a United Way agency.
Yeah, because we're all about making sure that we can measure the impact that we're having. As stewards of donor resources in this community, we want to make sure that the dollars that we invest strategically make a difference so that we make sure that more kids are ready for kindergarten. And so that the programs that we support help do that, to make sure that more kids are being fed on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, and so that the programs that we support really do that in the most efficient and effective manner.
And we're talking about the United Way campaign kickoff in a minute. We'll talk about how Derek has helped to coordinate the local efforts in this regard, and then what happens once you pledge your support for the campaign, then what comes next. We'll discuss that coming up in a moment on WBCK. 8:15 WBCK, Richard Piet Show on the 14th of September. Chris Sargent is here with the United Way, and Derek King as well. Folks know Derek, of course, in town, King Jewelers, and the Calhoun County Board chair these days, and also now the campaign chair for Battle Creek for the big United Way campaign this year. This is a big job. What inspired you, Derek?
Well, thanks, Richard. What inspired me was being a business owner, being involved in government, being a parent of 5 kids. It's very important that I feel that every child deserves, like Chris said earlier, a great education, great health. These kids, they don't pick their, how they're raised. They need to have these things to succeed, and these are tools that we try to give them and support. My family, we get the books every couple months for our kids, and it's very important because our kids look forward to it, and we read those books, and that's just one way that the United Way supports early reading and getting those proficiencies to a level that we're going to ensure they're their success. And just being involved is very important to me. I'm involved with other organizations as well, but the United Way is special to me because of their stretch across the region is amazing on how they support local nonprofits.
Derek talked about the whole reading issue. It has always been important. I mean, I remember when I was in school, reading was a big deal, but it seems to me that we've really begun to hit that hard. And I presume that you've heard, Chris, from educators out there that we need to hit it harder, maybe.
Well, absolutely. Our schools can't do it alone. Without being cliche, it does take a village,
Yep.
and it's about getting the community engaged. Here's what's great about this: when Derek and I and you and thousands of others in the community come together, we can make a tremendous difference as a team, and that's what United Way is all about: bringing people and resources together. Last year, we had over 100 people going out and being reading buddies in the schools, helping kids read and being positive mentors and role models. We've tripled that number for this year.
Wow.
And the reason being is because people who are getting engaged. So for the listeners this morning that are thinking, wait a minute, I'm not a reading buddy. Guess what? Call United Way, call Hands On. Let's get you that way. Because in 30 minutes a week, you can make a difference in this community, both with your time and then with the investment in United Way so that we can financially support these programs. Derek talked about the partnership between business and government and individuals and community, and that's really what it's all about. There is no one set of resources that are going to be able to solve our complex social issues. What can happen is when we all come together and marshal those resources in a common goal way, making sure that kids have education, make sure that families are supported to be good parents and to be financially stable, that's when we make a better Battle Creek.
Mm-hmm. So, Derek, what do you have to do besides be a good cheerleader here in this campaign chair role, and how does that affect our town and our giving?
So we have monthly meetings where we get a lot of the business owners and community volunteers together. I lead those meetings. Lots of support from the United Way staff, just really driving home missions and visions on what we're going to do. It's just really making sure that we're capitalizing any way we can on those philanthropy and giving, and making sure that we get those dollars, because it's very important that these programs go on. And there's a lot more to it. It's duplicated services and such. We want to make sure that we get the best bang for the buck, if you will. And there's so much money that can be leveraged by the United Way with undesignated gifts, to where you're just giving to the United Way, and then they can go after more dollars through grants and whatnot to leverage those funds, and they can really increase the impact that just a few bucks a week or a few dollars a paycheck that you're giving that goes to United Way.
That's a good point, that matching dollars are out there, and so what somebody gives can push us toward a point at which they're really maximizing their money, maybe even doubling it.
Absolutely. For every dollar that we get given to United Way in an unrestricted way, we leverage that and bring in another $1.10 to the community. So it's more than doubled.
Wow.
And so, for example, when you think about families that are struggling, the Earned Income Tax Credit is a great example, where we have people going out. Over 100 volunteers a year filed 8,800 tax returns last year for low-income families who are working. These are families who are working and are still struggling. They're working full-time. They're working 2-3 jobs just to try to provide for their family. We brought $6.4 million back into the community and into this region last year just in that one program. That's the impact of giving to United Way.
And if we just focus on that one program a second, those folks just weren't clear about what had to be done to bring that to them.
Correct. And now we have trained volunteers who do their taxes for free, so they're not paying. Not that we don't want to support businesses who do that. We absolutely do. But for our families who are struggling and they're trying to put new tires on the car to get to work on time, they're trying to pay daycare, they're trying to keep the lights on in the home or in the apartment, this means on average $3,000 to $4,000 a year coming back in taxes that they can get ahead and be financially stable. So when we look at our strategic investments around income, that's a big one, because we're investing just over $100,000 to bring $6.4 million back into the community.
Wow. When we come back in a minute, we'll talk about what unrestricted means, and if folks want to give to you and they have a certain agency in mind, they can talk. We can talk about what that means and how they can get that done when we come back in just a second on WBCK 820.
First.
823 WBCK. Chris Sargent is here and Derek King. We're talking about the United Way Campaign kickoff, which is today. So you talked, Chris, about unrestricted donations. What does that mean, really?
So what that means is somebody just gives to United Way and says, you know what, United Way, we know that you understand how to invest strategically in the community.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to give a gift to United Way. It's almost like a mutual fund, right? You pay the financial investor to make those decisions on how best to maximize the investment. Same with United Way for the nonprofit sector. And so when people give to us in an unrestricted way, then we can leverage that gift. We can more than double it, and we can make sure that those investments are having a great impact.
And by the same token, if someone has a favorite nonprofit that you support, they can earmark that.
Yes, so we're philanthropists, as Derek mentioned. We want to support philanthropy in the community. So for people who want to designate to a particular nonprofit or a few, absolutely, we offer that as well. So any 501c3 they can give to. What I do is I put all of my philanthropy for the year under United Way. So I give to United Way in an unrestricted way. If there's other charities that I support, I can designate to those as well. And a lot of people that we know do that. It's one convenient, easy way to give in the community.
Makes sense. So, Derek, you're out there in the community. People come into your store. You encounter people in your role as the chair of the county board. Are we good at this? I mean, do people respond when United Way campaign starts and Battle Creek gets the word? What do you hear about that?
Yeah, they absolutely do, Richard. It's for years you hear of the United Way. The problem is a lot of folks really don't know what the United Way does.
Mm-hmm.
And the United Way is, like Chris said, they are the stockbroker, if you will. They are your charitable giving broker that will measure those nonprofits and make sure that these nonprofits are legit and look at their finances and make sure that they're not wasting the dollars by giving it to them. And it's just huge impact. And I can't stress enough about that book program. I mean, that's with the United Way, that's with the Kellogg Foundation, some of the great supporters, and it's just amazing what you can do with those, unrestricted funds and leveraging those dollars. And in fact, the one thing that hasn't been mentioned is you have several companies that will match your gift. So we'd encourage that too with these folks to give some dollars and let their corporation match the gift. That's a very important part of our campaign as well.
That's probably how those pay setters work, right, Chris?
Absolutely. Like Lakeview Ford already kicked off their campaign, raised a lot of dollars. They're great volunteers in the community. They just model the example for us in terms of how do you raise resources in a community. And ChangeTheStory.org is the way that people can hear more about those stories. You can give online. You can hear about how do you run a campaign, or by calling the United Way at 269-962-9538. And I know you'll have all those links up as well. But you can stop down and hear about and see in action. See, we have hundreds of volunteers. So Derek leads dozens of volunteers. Yeah. We have hundreds of volunteers annually that help us raise the money and help us make those investments out into the community in strategic ways. This is such a philanthropic community in Battle Creek and across this region that we are so fortunate to live in.
So $2 million from the pay setters right off the bat. Do you have a goal beyond that?
Yeah, our goal this year is to raise over $13 million across the Battle Creek and Kalamazoo region. This community continues to step up year after year, even in challenging times. We've always been very successful, but it takes each one of us making the gift, volunteering in the community, because it's over 20,000 individuals a year that will help us raise those resources.
Wow. And as you mentioned with the matching and such, sometimes it's as easy as making a designation to your payroll department and they'll take care of the rest, right?
Absolutely. $1 a week, $5 a week, $10 a week, that's how it adds up. And so every dollar makes a difference. I don't want somebody to think, well, my $1 a week isn't going to make a difference. It absolutely does, because when we bring that together with over 20,000, we raise millions.
All right, so let's stay in touch, and we'll get progress reports from time to time, and maybe we can talk with some of the agencies with whom you work, and
that'd be great.
Learn a little bit more about what they do. And I think Derek probably explained that better than I've ever heard it explained that United Way's like the stockbroker. It's going to take your money and then handle it the way you want it handled. And the point was well articulated that you vetted these agencies.
Yep. They've been longtime partners or new partners, but they make a difference. And again, you can hear all their stories at changethestory.org.
All right, and let's hear that number one more time, too.
269-962-9538.
Chris Sargent, Derek King, United Way Campaign Kickoff is today. Thanks, gents.
Thanks, Richard.
Thank you.
See you soon.